Greetings, programs. Welcome back to ArcNeo Reviews. Sorry for the lack of videos. Life has been, shall we say, interesting lately. Busy with stuff, still trying to get some kind of income going on while also still trying to sort of manage this channel to potentially turn it into the income. We'll see what happens. But I wanted to come on and do a very big sort of three-way review. So, as the title already gave away, we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Studio Series 32 and 44 Optimus Primes and the DNA Design DK15 upgrade set as well. The other videos, one, they're old, not very well lit. Two, I figured these things out a little bit better than I had in the original videos, so I figured it was worth getting better info out on them. And three, I've been having a lot of fun with these lately. You know, I like to go back to my collection and just kind of re-enjoy things. And as much as I liked these back then, I'm actually liking them even more on this sort of return trip. So I just wanted to go through, talk about everything again because I can. So gonna get started here with the 32 Studio Series 32 version of Optimus Prime here to cover the truck mode. Super quick. I'm going, for this video in particular, there will be a separately uploaded transformation video for Optimus. We'll cover all the trailer stuff in this video, but for the truck, we're just gonna go ahead and look at this guy. It is still one of the best looking truck modes I have seen in a long time. I usually manage to get something ever so slightly misaligned so it doesn't sit completely right. That's more on me than on this guy, because let's be honest, when you're transforming something for a video, you try to do it quickly, and you get things a little bit wrong. When I actually just sit down and I'm, messing with this guy in general, yeah, it transforms nice and smooth, and it looks super, super pretty when I'm done. But I'm having to do a lot of transforming in relatively minimal time. But yeah, the truck looks really good. This being the Studio Series 32, which was the Voyager release of this figure, standalone truck. You have the clear windshield and the blue flames just go straight into the red of the, engine, nose, whatever, hood of the truck. But yeah, really, really nicely done alt mode. I am still a big fan of, all real wheels. That's something we don't get as much as we should with these guys. Still rolls like a dream. All 6 wheels actually hit the ground like they're supposed to. Yeah, it's a great, great truck. And then, obviously, this version comes with a gun that has a little bit of airbrushing on the tip there. Make it look a little bit used. It's got a big slot on the side here, as well as a little tab sticking out there. So the slot can either mount the gun over this little section on the side of the hood right there, if you want the gun there, or use the little tab there. There are slots on either side of the truck up here. You can go ahead and just tab it in right there. Simple, effective, works really well. And obviously, right back here, you have a trailer hitch for the insanity of the trailer. That is technically for the other version, not this version. But yeah, that's how the trailer hooks up. And it is really big. Now, this is a post-upgrade trailer. So we're going to mostly be covering the trailer post-upgrade. But unlike my original video, I will actually bother going over the differences main first difference to know about is that we have a completely new rear axle here, basically. The main thing that it does is cause all of these wheels to actually work. And then there are some molded fake wheels inside that are just a little bit too small, so they don't actually hit the ground while the rest of them do. Whereas this one, only these wheels worked at all. These were fake, and then there wasn't even, like the double row to help, flesh it out a little bit more. So that's your first big change from the upgrade kit. And this is the only real assembly required piece of the upgrade kit. It's just, I want to say it was, it's 2 screws. There's one hiding way down in there. And the kit comes with new screws. I still see this kit for sale, so yeah, go find this kit if you have this figure. It is an absolute must, in my opinion. But this kit adds a lot of weapons, and some worked better than others. The main point where I feel like I kind of gave it too much of a pass is actually the storage in trailer mode. Because right now I've got everything, relatively contained and okay. Relatively. You'll already see that the little stabilizers here don't want to actually sit flat. They keep trying to lean forward. I said in the original video, I'll say again, this right now is like spring loaded. This thing is trying to come apart because a couple of the things that go in here don't fit. Like, I thought back when I did the first review, I thought it was just, they're, kind of tightly packed in there, so you have to have it just right. No. They just don't fit. Straight up don't fit. So we'll go ahead, get this unpacked, and kind of go over what's fitting and what doesn't. Easiest part here is the big battle axe. It just kind of slides down in there for a little bit of tension. Then the end of the handle here will slot in right there. It's a little hard to see, and the camera doesn't want to focus at this point, but right down here, there's a little indent that this will just catch on and then push down in. So that's the first part you have to get off. As you can see, again, this thing is still trying to lean itself forward, so let's go ahead and unpeg these 2 sides from it. We'll actually bother removing it later, but we'll at least let it sit free so it's not under tension anymore. Next thing you'll do is come down here and wiggle these blasters out. This can be very, very tricky to do because these pegs and everything are offset, and you're actually having to wedge this blaster down underneath into this hollow section of the back wheels. So you have to kind of bring it in and twist it and pull it up. It's a little more work than it looks like it's going to be at first, but it's manageable, it's doable. Come up here, pull the sides out a little bit, then come back here. And start working out the jetpack section, if it will come. Again, things are incredibly tight here and don't necessarily fit the best. So, finally get it out, move it to the side, and here you can see, a couple problems all at once. One, these swords, they're very, very close to the original mold, as you can see. But unfortunately, they fanned this part out ever so slightly. And while the original, if I can go ahead and get it slotted down in here, I'm not even going to bother trying to show the peg that this is going on. It is in complete darkness right now. But, if I get it slid on, you can see that this little handle is sitting down inside this little notch, and so it sits completely flat. Well, this handle is too big to go underneath that. And so when this is all straightened out, you can see that sword is sitting on there crooked. And yes, this is still where these swords are supposed to go, because that is an unusually shaped little tab there, and that is the only point where you have access to a tab to try to put these in. So, yes, unfortunately, only option for storing these doesn't work that well. Go ahead and finally get this piece out. And fold these up and under. Get them out of the way for now. Oh, and the other thing that was already wrong, I rambled about one thing for so long I forgot to mention the other. These shields. These also do not fit very well, if at all. Because, get this little piece standing up right here that directly interferes with their little pivoting handle. Doesn't matter which way you put it, the handle is going to be interfering with those, as well as you have to get the tip of this wedged down into this little gap down here. And it's just a matter of, again, when you get everything lined up, you can see that as I peg that in, all this starts pushing out. So, a second case where things don't fit. And I'm aware, yes, I did say you need to get this kit if you have this figure. But, while I love this kit and what it does, just store the weapons in a box somewhere else. Okay, the kit comes in a box. Just put the weapons back in the box when you're not using them. And worth mentioning, while these new shields store on the sides here, the old shield actually just has a single peg on the back. And so you would store it by just plugging it in back here. I am apparently not smart enough to line things up right now. Doesn't help them having to do things at weird angles because cameras and tripods and stuff, but you know, it pegs through in there. The little knuckle weapons are actually interfering with it, but we can actually leave those. We can leave in while we transform this, which is nice. Transform it, just come under here, unpeg these sections, come to the back, open the doors, unpeg the sides from this panel, bring it down, take the wheels, fold them all the way down, stand this up. The doors have these little spots that will come down and just kind of loosely slot into these little slots right there on the back of the back of the top panel, I guess. And just wiggle all of this down a bit. Come up here. Unfortunately, I'm using a tripod now that doesn't like to rotate for me, but rotate these forward. And then you can see on the back here, you can almost see on the back, there's a series of notches on the back of these rings and little tabs sticking out here. Just go ahead and slot those tabs in. Same thing over here. And there we've got the weapon ring dealt with. Come over here, get the other shield. The other shield I didn't even bother trying to put in. The first one was already enough of a hassle. And before I forget, I do have the deluxe version of this kit, which came with this slightly more golden axe. Most likely, if you get this kit now, you will only get this axe, which is fine. This is the one that actually matches. Once again, it is bigger than the original axe. And I realized I forgot to mention, this axe, the way it stores, is it actually will just peg on over this tab right here and lay down along the side of the trailer, and this little glove knuckle thing is actually covering a tab right there that the other end of this axe goes over while it's stored in the trailer. But right now we're using those tabs to store these little punching gloves. Okay, so thing to mention about these. The directions tell you to put them on this tab. They don't go on that tab. Like, I've double and triple checked. For the directions to this, frankly, are not very good. Your best option is to find a video or product shots. They printed them in, like, overly dark gray and dark red, so it's hard to make things out. But yeah, even the product shots show these knuckles being up here, when the only tab they actually fit on is this one way back here. So now you know that's how those have to go. Take the axe, it's got this little slot here in the side. Go ahead and peg that over there. Just because I have both axes here, I will peg this one there as well. That is where you would put the regular axe as well, if you're just running with the vanilla set. Then for these, not these swords, these swords, you now have a new copy of that weird shaped tab right here on these sides on the sides of the ring. I love when my inflections get just weird like that. But go ahead. Am I going in the wrong? No, I'm going in the right direction. This is one of those things where it is much easier to mess with it in real life versus trying to mess with it with harsh, unrealistic lighting. Come on, come on. There we go. Actually, put that on the right direction. But yeah, keep that in mind when you watch me or other people on, making these videos start forgetting how to attach things. We're having to look through, a viewfinder or a screen or something to actually look at what we're looking at. It's a pain in the butt compared to doing it in real life. But there's all of those. Go ahead, take these guns, close them up. They've got a little tab on the outside here that we'll peg in right there. And I pushed too hard on that and started bending the ring. So, same thing over here. Plug that in. And then that's actually all that you do for the weapon ring. I really did not cover this in the previous video. I just showed a picture of it. Showed. I love when I keep saying that. But yeah, these are the only weapons that actually attach to this ring. Technically, if you want, you can take his unpainted blaster here. And there's some extra ports hiding here and there, and you can, plug it in up there or even back here if you want. Then, to handle the rest of the weapons, you're going to go ahead and fold out the jetpack, which on this version it just has a few extra steps compared to the original, not many. But get this folded down. And actually, while it's like this is a good time to go ahead and take this little section here. It's got two little tabs hanging off the back here. They tab in right there. And it just fills out the jetpack a little more and keeps it from looking like just, you know, the slab that it is. The very long and hard to maneuver slab. Grab these sections, fold them up. They will peg in. And this is actually two sections here, but if you just move the wing, it will move the other part for you. But fold this one up first, bring this one down over the tab. And then what you're actually supposed to do here, as kind of nonsensical as it is just fold up the wings like this. Well, here. Getting a little ahead of myself and knocking parts off. This is the jetpack in the actual jetpack mode. You know, it's ready to go on Optimus's back here. For storage, what you do is fold this piece up, and then I'm a dingus. You don't actually peg these in yet. You leave these down as they will go, which can be a little tight, and fold the edge of the wings up, and you just try to make it sit flat and sit in front of the ring. That's all they do. And then on the ends here, you've got these little pseudo clip looking things. You'll actually just straighten out the shield peg here. You'll see there's a little groove in it. There is a little tab sticking out in the middle here between these. Try to bring that in a little closer so you can kind of see. And you just slide this down in and have it sit over that tab. So this is probably the part I really should have mentioned in the previous video, because not only did I not cover how the weapons went in, and I didn't do much comparisons on that, I literally just showed a picture of the weapon ring, whereas here, yeah, you know, now you know this doesn't even attach, it just sits in front. These aren't even technically attached, they're just sitting on, but they are held in place well enough, I guess. So that's how the weapon ring works correctly this time. Move it out of the way because it will try to fight for focus here on the camera. Because I'm going to cheat and just bring in the Studio Series 44 figure for handling the robot mode part of stuff now. Yay! Here's your difference in the alt mode. There's orange here instead of just blue and red. The windshield parts are silver instead of clear. And if I was to transform the other one, this little chest section is different. The one that's on this guy is made to plug into Studio Series, I can't remember the number, Jetfire. This guy's, he does not have those ports, but if you get Jetfire, he comes with another piece in this, you know, this little ab piece that is the same as the one on this one. This is a very complicated set to talk about, okay? Just bear with me here. But it comes with a replacement of this that's like this one. So if you have this version, you can still connect him to Jetfire. But the funny part is, they painted this section the color of, I believe it was Studio Series 5 Optimus Prime, which doesn't connect to Jetfire. So there's a lot of weirdness with this set, and I didn't know about all that back in the old one, so again, that's part of why the update here is, yeah, these pieces are different. but you can get a replacement one if you buy the figure that you would need the replacement one for. So now you know. But here we've got the robot mode. The robot mode looks really, really good. I appreciate the faceplate and stuff. I can live with the design of, Bay versus Optimus as long as he's got that faceplate on. When he's got the mouth, it looks wrong. I've never liked any version of Optimus that has the mouth, but this one in particular is the worst if he's got the mouth. Overall, I would say this probably is like the best looking Optimus Prime I know of. Like, if you're going for the movie look, this thing is really good. Yes, there's a little hollow spot right there in his back. He's got some backpack. He's not perfect, but for what he's having to represent, and I don't care that this version is technically a leader class figure. It's a price point, not a size point. He's leader class because he comes with a trailer that you have to buy an upgrade kit for. Because the upgrade kit does make the trailer better, as well as it gives him a lot more options. But posability on this guy, the head is on a ball joint, so you get some up, some down, rotation, shoulders, full 360. The shoulder pads move out to allow the arm to move out. There's a swivel in the bicep right there. It's got a little bit past 90-degree bend in the elbow. Wrists can rotate and move down a little bit because of their transformation joint. Limited waist rotation, mostly limited due to these wheels back here, so if you just move them out of the way, you do get more rotation if you want. Kicks forward all the way, can kick back farther a little bit if you fold all that away. Basically the full splits. No thigh rotation, but there is a rotation just above the knee. If I move these wheels back up, we can then get to the knee. Really, really deep bend on the knee. Posable knee pad. Try to accommodate whatever you're going to do with them. Foot goes forward and way back. Not too much of an ankle tilt, and it even goes the other way for some reason, but it's enough ankle tilt to give you a lot of options. Again, his transformation will be covered in another video that hopefully will come out the same time as this video, but we'll see. But yeah, this is, if you want a movie one Optimus, this is still like the mold to get. It doesn't matter if you get the leader class or the Voyager class. You want this mold if you're going to get movie Optimus, or just get the Bumblebee figure, but that's a different style. So, to get the jetpack on this guy, this part is the same either version. You're going to take these little sections here, rotate them up, kind of pull them out on these little double hinges, and spin them around. Then unpeg this section from his back and fold everything down flat. Try to get these as forward as they go, which isn't much, but get all that to lay down flat like that. Go ahead and get this thing. We will fold these back over. The wing straightened back out. Push this up, and this is supposed to peg over right there to lock everything together. It, at least on mine, it just quite doesn't, but that doesn't matter. It will still hold together just fine. And what you're going to want to do is there's little grooves right here that you're going to slide down over this little bit of roof section that's on his back. And right after you get that slid down, you're going to take these two slots, put them over these tabs, and then these tabs right here will go into these slots. So it sounds worse than it really is. Really, just give this a slide down, which is the single hardest part of all this. And then just give things a bit of a push to get the tabs locked on. And there you go with your jetpack. If you want to know what the original jetpack looked like, just imagine it being these wings instead of the new ones. The new wings are just a little bit wider, quite a bit more paint on them, as well as better. They move in to connect, so they're not just hanging out here. So while the wing itself is wider, he still ends up with a slightly narrower wingspan, is what I'm looking for here, just because these wings do sit out farther than the new wings. The new wings still look a lot better, though. But there's actually something you can do with these. I'll cover that in just a second here. While we've got this guy here, show off that these new wings are adjustable, so you can fold them down, fold these ones down, fold those back up, obviously, bend these back. Yeah, these ones are absolutely awesome. And really quick to show it off, I can finally remember which side these guns go on. Whichever gun you put on him, you want this on the outside of his arm. To open them up, you do have to pull them out slightly, because there's a little tiny notch coming out right there that these come up over and click onto. So pull it out a little bit to actually open it. But go ahead, slide this in his hand. And then I've seen a few different ways to handle this part of his arm. As best I can tell, though, what you're supposed to do is completely fold this panel down. Close the gun up so that it clicks shut, if it will. Sometimes it does not want to line up just right to actually do that. There we go. And then there's actually a little slot right here on the outside of the gun that I didn't notice before. And that tab right here, it won't really slot into it, and hold, but it will sit in there, which helps actually thicken out the arm to make it look like, his arm transformed into this gun. Whereas, if I can find it here, the old gun, which was much smaller and less shiny, mainly smaller, but or mainly less shiny, but it's a little smaller. All it did was just sit over the hand. So you can see the new guns actually sort of replace the arm instead of just being a held weapon. Looks better, as you would hope with, an upgraded weapon here. But you can go ahead, you can give him those, you can give him his other, any of his other weapons from the big crazy weapon rack. Because I know I've completely glanced over them. Here's the Knuckle Weapons that only this, kit has. These aren't even upgrading an original weapon. These are new. And you just kind of pop them in his hand and over the fist. They can be a little tricky to get on sometimes, but it can be done eventually. Because you do have to flex them open ever so slightly. There we go. Close that back up, and now you've got pseudo Wolverine claws on your Optimus. I genuinely don't remember if he had those in the movie or not, but it does look cool. I like it a lot. But, like I was saying, there is something you can do with the old wings, which isn't... It's half intentional and half not. So, when I did the last video, I mentioned this part that was in the kit, and I didn't understand what it was for. Well, what this is for, actually, is you can take these, the new wings that come with this set, and instead of attaching them to this assembly, you can actually take those wings, and I can't really undo this to show because I'd have to completely disassemble this, but you would actually put them on here, take this piece, pop them on, and then these two tabs would slot onto the back of your Studio Series 5 Optimus, as I understand. But what you also are able to do, if you want, is drop them. No, it just so happens that this little piece here is the perfect size to fit in right there at this hinge point on the old wings. So if you want, and I guess obviously you could use this piece to just basically make a separate backpack instead of changing this backpack. So another option you've got if you want something a little lower profile. But you could also take the old wings, snap them on here, and then it's actually easier to do it this way. Pull this little piece out, and this happens to be exactly the right size. Got something on his back there. To slot in right here. It's a pretty tight fit, but it needs to be for this. Do that. And there you've got another option for attaching the jetpack, or, attaching the old wings and effectively having two jetpacks, or putting a jetpack on the Studio Series 5 in any way. So, I now know what this piece is for, and I found this pseudo alternate use for it. Woohoo! So, yeah, I think with that, this ridiculously overly long video is finally going to be done here. But yeah, while I do, especially now that I've really taken the time to look at this thing and figure it out, I do still very much recommend storing all of the accessories not in the trailer if you're going to put this thing in trailer mode. I still cannot recommend this set enough. This new jetpack looks so much better. It's actually got articulated wings and stuff beyond just this little hinge right here. The extra weapons are A, really nice to have for display options, but B, they look better than the standard weapons. So I do still give this kit a major recommendation if you have either version of this Optimus. And if you're on the fence about getting a Studio Series, like early movie version of Optimus, either version of this mold is still fantastic in my opinion. So I do still recommend, if you want the trailer, get this version, get the leader class with the little bit of orange on him. If you just want Optimus, get this one. And as I showed you, you can still give him the jetpack even if you don't have the trailer and, this part of the assembly. So, there you go. Anyway, thank you for dealing with this ridiculously long, hopefully edited down somewhat, ramble fest. Like I said, I've been messing with this. I've fallen in love with this set all over again, more so than I was originally, and I want to cover it better than I had. So, thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for a video that we'll be releasing later today with a little bit of an announcement. See you then.